This is Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back in, Ready, Set, Bet, hour number 2 about to roll on here. I'm Mike Somich. He's Aaron Halterman, filling in for the one and only Matt Brown. He'll be joining us again next week. We've got some games in action, Aaron, and I've got some good news for you. As promised, second time through the lineup here, the Phillies drop a 4 spot. They take a 4-0 lead on the Marlins. We've only seen 1 hit given up so far by Walker for the Phillies. You got to be feeling pretty good about that Phillies minus 1.5.
It's like you knew. You told me, relax, calm down, and look what happened. 4-0. Yeah, I feel great. With Walker on the mound, are you kidding me? We're cruising. It's not going to be an Arizona situation like yesterday, right? Like, we're good, right?
Yeah, of course. What could go wrong, right? Royals-Tigers tied up at 0 right now, bottom of the 4th. Just 3 hits in that game. Over in Indianapolis, the Pacers up 49-36. 5:11 left in the second quarter. You can get the Bucks plus 11.5 right now if you are feeling frisky, all the way up to plus 600 on the money line for Milwaukee there. Now, we got to talk a little bit more baseball because we have a full slate today, and we are lucky to have joining us on the Progressive Guest Line, Colby Marchio. He is the betting analyst over at Your Betting News. You can find him at C_Marchio2 over on the Twitter machine. Colby, how are we doing today? How's everything going?
Fantastic. I'm glad it's the weekend. I'm glad I could just sit back and watch all these games today. And I have a lot that I love, which is either going to be fantastic or terrible.
It's going to go one of two directions, right? Before we get into it, we had a little interesting conversation during the break. We're talking about specifically stolen bases in this Phillies game. We've already seen the Phillies rip off 4 stolen bases, and the to-win prop from a pitcher perspective. You don't like either of those bets, and I actually agree with you. I think a lot has to go right. Talk us through why you don't like stolen base props and for a pitcher to win.
Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this because I actually was like, I hope he asked you about this. It's interesting because I've asked people who enjoy betting on stolen base props. I've never really dove into the market, but every time I see the price, I'm like, that definitely seems too low for something that has so much to go into the possibility of even getting to said stolen base, and he might even get thrown out, and you might only get one opportunity the entire game. So, I mean, seeing sometimes 2-1, sometimes 3-1, maybe some guys have greater odds, but is it really worth it? You're anticipating a walk hit and then the pitcher having somewhat of a slow delivery, or the guy even have good enough wheels or good enough jump to get to the second base or third base. I never think it's worth it. So I never even look at the market. And then you mentioned the pitchers to record a win. That's so much going into it. You should either take the team's F5 or the team's F5 team total because you're anticipating everybody to contribute. And there's always some shenanigans that goes down, just like a Yerfy-Nerfy where you see stuff you've never seen before because you're on said prop. So I never look at that prop. I think nobody should ever look at that prop. I'm waiting for somebody to prove me wrong, which I love being wrong. There's nothing better than being wrong and learning more stuff. So if you out there bet to record a win, please talk to me. I would love to hear your process and what you go about.
Well, this just shows you, just messing around before the segment, we learned something, right? And so we brought that up randomly. Somich brought it up, and then there you go. We bring it up. And I totally agree with you guys as well, and I agree with that 100%. All right, let's get to your bets, though, today. You said you love a lot of stuff here, so let's see what happens. You're going to New York for your first player prop. Tell us what you got.
I'm taking Pete Alonso over his 1.5 total bases and sprinkling on the home run. Now, my rule with guys that I like to get over as their base prop, I always take the home run. Sometimes I take the double. I take the home run regardless because if the price is good enough, I'll take it. But today, you could say it's a bad price for Pete Alonso's home run because I don't think I've ever taken his prop under 3-1, and I took it at plus 290. I still think it's a great price for one of the hottest hitters in baseball, betting 348 in OPS of 1175. He's the 8th highest hitter on batters-box.com, has gone over 1.5 total bases in 8 of his last 10 elite ratings. And in 77 elite ratings, he records a hit 65% of the time, over this prop 50% of the time, over his home run at 25% of the time. He has a career 860 OPS with a 131 WRC plus against lefties. Now, Liberatore of the Cardinals has the worst pitcher rating on the day, the worst average hitter matchup, ISO and Awoba, gives up a ton of hard contact, which we love, especially with Pete Alonso, who is all hard contact, and has the 4th lowest average hitter matchup K percentage. I think this is a great price, despite it not being at plus money. For some reason, Pete Alonso, you always get great prices for his bases prop. But I mean, now when he's white hot, you're going to get him under even money. So I still think it's a great price against the guy who gives up a ton of hard contact. I really like Big Meat today.
The wind blowing straight out in New York as well. 20-mile-per-hour winds blowing out. So you love that for Pete Alonso.
Probably why the prop's so low.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing for a home run prop for a guy who loves to hit fly balls. All right, let's switch over here and talk a little bit about the Dodgers and the Rangers. You've got Nathan Eovaldi on the mound here for the Rangers, and Mookie Betts. He likes to hit against Eovaldi. He's 5 for 17 career. You like some Betts props. Let's talk about him.
I do like Mookie. The guy hasn't recorded a hit since Monday. I think today it turns around. You're getting a fantastic price for his bases and his home run at over 5-1. That is a great spot. He has an elite rating on batters-box.com, and 99 elite ratings records a hit 72% of the time, 2+ hits 32% of the time, home run just 16%. Not the greatest, but we know Mookie. He has some pop, and he matches up very, very well against Eovaldi's repertoire. And Eovaldi is allowing the most hard contact among starting pitchers today with a 40% hard contact rate. And he has a terrible average hitter matchup ISO. I really love the price for Mookie today. I think it's a great spot for him to come back and get a hit, and hopefully he cashes both props for us.
All right, let's change over to the pitching side of things. You've got a starting pitcher going later on tonight in Houston, but it's not the Houston pitcher. Tell us who you got.
Yeah, we are fading Michael King coming off his masterclass complete game. Now, for those that aren't aware, this is not your father's MLB. We don't get complete games anymore. This isn't Greg Maddux throwing 3 days later, and he's thrown 300 pitches in the last 4 days. But Michael King is coming off back-to-back 100-pitch outings. He's thrown 211 pitches on 14.2 innings pitched. He does have a great rating today on batters-box.com. I'm completely ignoring that because all this is not factored into the equation. I'm backing that the workload is going to be too much. I'm taking the under on his outs at 17.5 at plus 150. I did want to take the Astros team total in the first five at 1.5 because I thought it was a great price, but plus 150 for under outs and a guy who's been throwing a ton, I think is just a lot better option and just avoid the team total. But if you like the team total, I highly suggest it. I love first 5 team totals, and 1.5 is always a gift in my opinion, even with how great of a matchup that King has in the spot.
Now let's shift gears here and look at the final game on the Major League Baseball slate. The San Francisco Giants get shut out last night. I had them. I didn't love that against the Anaheim Angels. The LA Angels now. They'll be back in Anaheim to play the Los Angeles Angels tonight. Right now, the Giants minus 135 favorites. Angels coming back at plus 114. Total sitting at 8.5. Little juice to the over. But you again going prop here. Who do you like?
Yeah, this isn't your father's MLB. I'm sorry. It's not Anaheim anymore, even though I still say it. And I know it's been LA for I don't know how long now. But going back to a pitcher prop, like you said, I like Landon Roop at over 6.5 strikeouts in this spot. Has the third highest average hitter matchup K percentage. Gets to face 9 hitters above the league K rate, coming off 8 strikeouts against the Phillies on Monday, going up against a now weaker lineup in the Angels. He has a K per 9 of 12, which is fantastic. The Angels are terrible at the plate. They're 25th in K percentage, and over their last 3 games, over 33% K percentage. Logan Webb just struck out 12 yesterday. I think Landon could do the same thing tonight. Not saying ladder it to 12. I'm saying just stick to the prop. We'll be just fine.
So last question here before you let you go. You've got a lot of props here. Is that just kind of that's your wheelhouse? Do you go a side bet every now and then, or is it just boom, let's go with the props every day? Those are the markets you're looking at.
So I will not look at a full game total. I will not look at a full game money line, run line. I think there's no reason to look at it. I think I said this last time I was on the show. I don't know anything about the relievers. I don't care to know anything about the relievers because you don't know who's coming out of the pen. I'm not worrying about what's going on after the first 5. I do suggest to people when I give out first 5 team totals that if there's at least momentum, they leave guys on and we don't cash that first 5 team total, taking the lives 2 score in the 6th has some good value sometimes. In the 6th inning is the second most scored inning. I also like taking the live first 7 because it's usually just for that team to get a run in the next 6 outs. So I think there's value there. I am strictly first 5 team total guy or side guy. And then I'm all over with the props. I love home run props. I think they're the most exciting prop to bet on in sports. Who doesn't like the long ball? Chicks dig it. I dig it. Come on.
It is an exciting bet. It is also heartbreaking every now and then because you go through some slumps there with those home runs. He is Colby Marchio, betting analyst there over at Your Betting News. You can find him over on X at C_Marchio2. Colby, thank you very much for joining us. I'll be rooting for some of these props. I like the Alonso and the Bet Homer props. Hopefully get him home. Thanks for coming on.
Same. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's always interesting to talk through the strategy of why people end up on certain bets. Aaron, I'm a first five better. I love betting first five in Major League Baseball because much like Colby, I don't know that much about these bullpens. And I'm willing to admit I don't know that much. I'm handicapping starting pitchers. And so that's where I'm generally going to trend to. Do you get involved in the prop markets in baseball very often? I haven't seen you throw out many props on the baseball side.
No, but he kind of convinced me. And that's why I asked that question, because here's a baseball expert. He comes on and all he's doing is giving props. So, yeah, I'm going to look into it a little bit more. I'm still kind of that old school bettor. I do first fives all the time. But, yeah, do a lot of full games too. But you're right. Look, here's the deal. And he said something that really rings true. It is not the old MLB. We don't have pitchers going 7 and 8 innings. And so as bettors, you do kind of have to adjust and say, okay, here's the known. I'm pretty sure this pitcher's going 5. That's what I want to look at. And it makes total sense. So it's just a betting market adjusting to how the game has just totally changed.
Yeah, it does make those adjustments. So update the NBA real quickly before we go to break. The Pacers up 60-41. You can lay 16.5 with Indianapolis. Total sitting at 220. Don't love that. Like a few more points. If you want the Bucks now, 14-1, Aaron. Time to get involved. No. Stick with us here. Ready, set, bet. We're going to rip through the afternoon slate of baseball games, including not 1, 2, 3, 4, but 5 bets from Aaron and I. You're watching Ready, Set, Bet on VSiN.
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back here. Ready, Set, Bet rolls on. I'm Mike Somich. He's Aaron Halterman filling in for Matt Brown. And Aaron, we got a couple updates here. We are to the bottom of the fourth. Phillies up 4-1. The Marlins get one in the top half without recording a hit. 2 walks and 2 groundouts. Plate 1 runner for the Marlins there. The Phillies do have 2 on. We are through 4.5 in Detroit. Kansas City, Detroit still tied at 0. Not too much action there. And we are at halftime here with the Pacers and the Bucks. The Pacers put up 67 in the first half. The Bucks respond with just 43. So Pacers up big at half right now. You can get 21.5 here on the Pacers plus 4,000 now, 40-1. If you want to take the Bucks to come all the way back, total sitting at 221.5. Anything you want to look at here in the second half of this Pacers-Bucks game?
Not really. No, I'm going to cut my losses a little bit in this game. Played the Bucks when it got to 6.5. Apparently we needed 26.5, right? They just are not playing well whatsoever. One team kept scoring and then one team didn't because they kept pace early, but now it's just a mess. So no, nothing for me in this one. We'll just we'll regroup for game 2, Somich.
There you go. Maybe you'll have Dame back in game 2 there. Giannis Antetokounmpo has a big half. He puts up 19, but he is minus 26 in the first half. That's never good. And just 5 for 11 from the free throw line. One of his bugaboos consistently is coming up again here in the playoffs for Giannis Antetokounmpo. We'll see if the Bucks able to pull off the miracle comeback here in the second half. Now, we've got a lot of baseball games that are starting between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock Eastern here. So we're going to rip through those. But if you're looking for somewhere to bet them, head over to ProfitX. ProfitX is offering the best odds all season long in baseball. ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states, first of its kind in the U.S. You get to bet against fellow gamblers versus betting against the sportsbook exchanges. Make sure that you are often offered better odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds over at ProfitX. Download ProfitX today. Use the code VSiN and earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. That's ProfitX.com. Download the app there, ProfitX. Now, we've got a lot of baseball games we've got to get through here in this segment, and we've got quite a few bets as well. As we look toward the afternoon slate here, we've got the Mariners taking on the Blue Jays. That is a 3:07 first pitch. The Mariners sending out Gilbert. The Blue Jays sending out Barrios here. Mariners a slight favorite, minus 115. I thought about Seattle here in this spot simply because of the pitching matchup, but the Blue Jays have actually hit Gilbert pretty well here, Aaron. Did you see anything you like in Mariners Blue Jays?
No, I didn't. I was with you, though. If you're going to bet it, if you want to bet it, I should say, I would take Seattle. It's not too bad of a price to lay with Gilbert on the mound. Berrios hasn't been bad either, and I think the thing that you pointed out is the big key. The Blue Jays have hit Gilbert well in the past, and the Blue Jays are kind of playing like we thought they would last year or even the year before so far. I've been fairly impressed with them. Plus, the games in Toronto, I think that's a decent home field advantage up there as well. So I stayed away. I do lean Seattle, though. If you want to play that game, I think Seattle is the right side.
4:10 Eastern, 1:10 Pacific. We've got the Nationals heading into Colorado and taking on the Rockies right now. Nationals minus 142 with Mackenzie Gore on the hill. Chase Dollander on the hill here for the Rockies. And I am going to do something I do not often do, Aaron. I'm going to take an under in Coors. Give me under 5, first 5 here for Nationals Rockies. We talked about Chase Dollander and some of his previous starts here on this show. One of the higher touted prospects for the Rockies. Pitched pretty well, but gets into trouble later in those starts. I'm hoping that's the 6th inning, not the 5th here. Mackenzie Gore on the other side, very good pitcher for the Nationals in spots. Tough hitting conditions in Coors. You don't say that a lot, but it is cold, winds blowing in. So I'll take under 5, first 5 here, Nationals Rockies. Any interest in that game for you?
That's the biggest difference between you and I. Like, you love to play those games that look like gross games on paper. It's like the Nationals and the Rockies. You're like, yeah, Somich is going to be all over this one.
Sign me up.
I just stay away from these games unless I really see something, or unless you give me a text and say, hey, play this. I know it's going to come in, because I just hate that. Look, we had a full slate of games. We got really good games up and down. This is one I can take a pass on. So no, nothing for me here. I'll cheer for you in this one.
Hey, a buck's a buck. Even in the
That's
gross
right.
games, it's all worse the same if it's a winner. So I'll take the under 5 there. We've got a 4:05 start here. Reds taking on the Orioles. Hunter Green on the mound. Brandon Young, a first-time starter here for the Orioles, going to be his first major league start right now. You can actually get plus money with the Reds. Little interested in that, but I ended up passing on that game. Another 4:05 start here. The Guardians taking on the Pirates, and you've got Ben Lively taking on Paul Skeens. This is one you do have a bet from. What do you like here, Guardians, Pirates?
Yeah, I went under 4 in the first 5 innings here. You got Skeens, and obviously we know what's going on with him, a power pitcher that can just absolutely shut you down. Lively does go for the Guardians, but yeah, whatever. The Pirates really can't hit anybody, it feels like. So I just feel like this is a game where if Skeens does his job, this is going to be one you cash. And like we were saying, let's not mess with the bullpens. Let's not go full game under. Give me that first 5 under 4. I just hope Skeens has his stuff today and can get the Guardians out. And then, like I said, I'm not really concerned about the Pirates getting a lot of hits. So first 5 under 4 for me in this one. Skeens is kind of the thing. You can't really play aside because they don't hit. Talk about the Pirates. So when he pitches, you kind of just got to look at the unders.
Another 4:05 first pitch here. The Cardinals taking on the Mets. We talked a little bit about this one with Colby. He's all over the polar bear props, and Pete Alonso. Wind blowing out 20 miles per hour. What do you like here, Aaron?
Well, I like the Mets minus the 1.5 here. You're getting a plus number, plus 115. And I loved what Colby said. He talked about Libator and how he just isn't very good. And disclosure, I'm a Cardinals fan. I've watched this guy pitch every 5 days when he's in the rotation, which is not all the time because he's so bad he's in the bullpen a lot. So anyway, great pitching matchup here. And by the way, good pitcher on the mound for the Mets. But it doesn't really matter. The Cardinals can't hit anybody, it seems like. So this is another one. I thought laying a 1.5 makes a ton of sense here. You could play the Mets, but I want to juice up the price. I want to get to that plus number. So give me the Mets minus a 1.5. I think they'll hit Libator hard, and I just don't have any confidence in the Cardinal lineup right now.
Another 4:05 first pitch. The Dodgers taking on the Rangers. Evaldi on the hill for the Rangers, a short favorite, minus 115, taking on Sasaki for the Dodgers, sitting there at minus 105. I was almost on the Dodgers here, but important housekeeping note, Shohei Ohtani will not play. He is out on paternity leave, not injured, but having a child. So he is going to be out here projected until around April 22nd. So make sure if you're playing the Dodgers, you keep that in mind. Any interest here, Rangers, Dodgers for you?
I almost pulled the trigger last night on the Dodgers and didn't, and they won without Shohei, and I paused because of what you just said with Ohtani. And so today it's like, let's go, let's do it. But I thought to myself, you know what? You didn't do it yesterday, even though you were wrong and you should have. Don't try to overcorrect. Just stay away from it. Ohtani out of the lineup. That is obviously a huge gap in the lineup there. So I stayed away because of the injury.
In the battle of the colored Sox here, coming on at 4:10 Eastern, we've got the Chicago White Sox heading in to take on the Boston Red Sox. Garrett Crochet faces his old team. We'll see if he's able to take a no-no into the 8th like he was last week against a very, very poor White Sox offense. If you want to lay it with the Red Sox, minus 345. You think the White Sox can learn to hit Garrett Crochet 1 week later? You can get plus 275 coming back. Red Sox minus 162 on the run line. Total sitting at 9 there. I don't really want to talk about that one because we're going head-to-head in the next one here. The New York Yankees taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. This is going to be a 4:10 first pitch. The Rays right now, minus 122 with Shane Baz on the mound. You've got the Yankees sending out Carlos Carrasco. You can get plus 102 there. Total sitting at 8.5. Again, I will be the cordial host and allow you to talk about your bet first before I give out the winner.
Well, thanks a lot. Yeah, real cordial there, Somich. So look, I back the Yankees. You always got to get your shots in at me. I bet the Yankees here with a plus price. Look, it's one of those weird situations, right? I feel really sorry for Tampa because they're having to play in the Yankees, spring training stadium, basically. So the Yankees are almost more at home than Tampa is in this spot. And look, I think it's all on Carrasco. He's got to hold him in the game through 5 or 6 innings. If he can do that and we can get to the bullpen, I think the Yankees have a significant advantage. So that's going to be the key. I think he can do it. So I'm going to back the Yankees at a plus number here. And I just kind of feel like, look, they're the better team overall. If their pitcher, who's just average, can just have a decent enough outing, we get to the bullpen, we're going to win this in the late innings. So give me the Yankees. Now tell me why I'm wrong, Somich.
Well, you're right. They have a better lineup. You are wrong that they're the better team overall. I think you have a massive advantage on the hill here. I think Shane Baz is able to shut down those Yankees bats. I'm not scared of the back half of the lineup like I am the front half of the lineup. And we can be cordial. Let's see if we can thread the needle here. Give me the Rays minus a half run first 5, and we can get that right now at plus 110. So we can get my plus 110 home in the first half and your plus 120 home for the full game. How about that?
I think that's great. And we basically just said the same thing. Those first 5 innings, you want the Rays. The last 4 innings, give me the Yankees. It makes sense. We were fighting for no reason. We're on the same side here. Come on.
There we go. We got to be nicer to each other out here. Everyone just be nicer to everybody. Bottom 4, Phillies 7-1. You got some more runs there for your Philadelphia Phillies runner on third with Schwarber up right now. The Tigers burst through there with 3 in the bottom of the 5th. They're now up 3-0. And the D-backs get one early against the Cubs. Up 1-0. Stick with us right here on Ready, Set, Bet. We are going to come back and we are going to talk series prices here in the NBA playoffs. I have got a plethora of bets coming up from the 3 series that we got left to tip off today. Make sure you stick with us here. Ready, Set, Bet, Playoff Saturday edition rolls on VSiN and Channel.
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back in here, Ready, Set, Bet. You can find us over on the VSiN Watch app, on YouTube TV, on the VSiN channel, channel 158 on SiriusXM, and all over the terrestrial radio stations around the U.S. Wherever you are joining us, thank you very much for listening and enjoying, I assume, the show here. Aaron, we are at halftime, much like the Bucks and Pacers are halfway home, and Pacers are currently shellacking the Bucks, 67-43 at half right now. If you're looking at a live line, you're laying 20.5 with the Pacers, or you could take it with the Bucks plus 20.5 right now. 40-1 for the Bucks to come back and get the win. 221.5 right now, sitting at the total. I kind of like the over because I kind of like the over pregame. I did not put a bet in. I've got 224. We'll see if we can get a few more Bucks points here in the second half, Aaron.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. They were doing it in the first quarter. You said you got the over in the first quarter, and they were scoring. In the second quarter, they absolutely stopped, and the Pacers kept going. So let's see what kind of fight the Bucks have in them. For anything else, maybe just make a little run, set up some confidence for game 2. I don't know if you can erase this deficit. I mean, most likely not, but you need to come out and at least show some life. So that'll be the key to all the overs. What will the Bucks do in the second half?
Yeah, Giannis with 19 in the first half. His point prop was 32.5, a little plus money to the over. The key to that is probably going to be whether or not he stays in the game. If this continues to be a blowout, that's going to be the focus of whether or not he can get over his points total. On the Pacers side, Nembhard leading the team there with 15. Siakam's got 12. And Benedict Mathurin off the bench with 11 as well for a Pacers team that currently controlling the game against the Bucks here. Now, Aaron, we've got the NBA playoffs, and they are absolutely heating up right now. Make sure that you keep tuning in here to VSiN and on the VSiN Watch app as we break it down from series odds to matchup breakdowns. You'll find all you need with the playoff coverage here on the VSiN Watch app and as well over at VSiN.com with a pro subscription. You're going to get series plays and day-to-day plays every single day of the NBA playoffs. And that's a perfect lead in here to what we're about to talk about, Aaron. We've got 3 more playoff games that are tipping later today, and that's going to start with the Clippers at the Nuggets. This is a 3:30 Eastern tip, 12:30 Pacific. One of the more interesting series, if not the most interesting first-round matchup here, the 4-5 out west. The Nuggets short favorites laying 2.5 at home. Right now, you can the total sitting at 225. If you like the Clippers on the money line, plus 120 there. Before we get into the series as a whole, did you have anything that you played on the Nuggets Clippers first game today?
I like getting the 2.5 points with the Clippers. You've kind of talked me into it throughout the show here, and I just kind of lean that way right now with this one. I am a guy that is not a day in and day out regular season NBA bettor, but I do like to jump into the playoffs because it matters, and I don't have to worry about who's having rest and who's not, right? But with that being said, it may take 2 or 3 games before I really get a great feel. I've done the research, obviously, but, there's nothing like getting a feel of a series. That being said, like I said, a lot of people are sharp on the Clippers. So I'm going to take them as well. They finished off really well. They've got the star quality. Give me the Clippers here plus the 2.5 to get it going.
Yeah, I would be betting the Clippers in game 1 if I have not already bet this series 6 different ways to Sunday. So this opened as the Nuggets sitting in like the minus 160, minus 165 range. You could get Clippers plus 145. I missed the opener. I did bet Clippers plus 130. I rebet Clippers plus 110. I might have put a little bit more on Clippers minus 110 when we got to that number as well. You're seeing it as high as Clippers minus 125 for the series in some places. And to me, this is just a perfect storm matchup for the Los Angeles Clippers. You've got the team in the Clippers who have been the best team in both offensive and defensive net rating through the final 15 games of the season. They are gelling at the right time. Kawhi, fingers crossed, is healthy to start out this series. He makes a massive difference. I think Zubac is a big part of this series for the Clippers on the inside as well. He's someone that they can have man up on Jokic. And on the other side, make Jokic defend as well. Harden's going to try and put Jokic in the blender and pick and rolls. And you've got a big-time coaching mismatch here as well with Tyronn Lue and the rest of that Clippers coaching staff taking on a replacement coach of just 3 games right now on the Nuggets side here. So I love the Clippers. One of my favorite bets, actually, Clippers win game 1, win the series. You can get that at plus 185. I've got Clippers minus 2.5 games, plus 425 in the account here. I am all over the Clippers. And like I said, because of that, I don't feel like putting on, just pressing the bet one more time here, taking the Clippers plus the 2.5 or on the money line. But if I was betting this game, Aaron, I'm on the Clippers. I think this is a horrible matchup for the Denver Nuggets.
You like the Clippers a little bit? Just curious. I don't know how many times.
A little bit.
You just said Clippers more times in that segment than you did in your whole life, I think, right there. That's amazing.
It's terrifying. It is terrifying to like the Clippers because I did not bring up the negatives, which are Jokic is the best player in the series. Kawhi Leonard may only play 2 games. You never know with him. And oh, by the way, James Harden's playoff career not very good. So there are some big time worries. It's one of the reasons why, as much as I like the Clippers in this series, and I do think they're the second best team in the West when healthy, I am scared to click the 25 to 1, 30 to 1 to win the NBA title because I don't think we're getting 4 rounds of this, but I do think this one round they're able to get through.
And they're the Clippers. That's the thing you left out more than anything else. Not a rich history to fall back on to have so much money invested in the Clippers right now. But look, I've been, studying up obviously on this as we get ready for the show in the last couple of weeks of the playoffs. And they kind of check all the boxes, right? For being ready to win this first round. And then you look at the Nuggets, Somich, my goodness, that's been a mess with the coaching situation. The only thing that's weird, sometimes when you fire a coach in the middle of the regular season, that team will have a spurt where they go on a nice run. Is that going to happen in the playoffs? Is that the strategy here? I'm skeptical.
Yeah, it's tough because you don't have a closing five that is set. We saw Westbrook absolutely blow a game, and because of that, he's not the closing five anymore. We're not sure what we're going to get from a rotation perspective with a new coach. Are you going to see the younger players played more than what they were under Malone? I think those are all question marks, and I don't want to answer those in a 5-game series against one of the best defensive teams in basketball. On top of that, Jamal Murray's health is a problem. Porter Jr. hasn't been playing well. No one wants to rebound for this Nuggets team against Jokic. There's just so many reasons I like the Clippers. I really hope I'm not wrong on this one. Got quite a bit of money tied up in them. We've got 2 other series that are going to be tipping today. The Pistons go in and to Madison Square Garden. They're going to be taking on the Knicks. Right now, the Knicks are minus 400 favorites in the series. You can come back and take the Pistons plus 310. Today's game, the Knicks 7-point favorites over the Pistons. Total sitting at 220. Aaron, did you do anything with this series?
I didn't do anything with the series because I just couldn't make the prices make sense. And I didn't want to take minus 2.5 games because that's what I would have to do to make it make sense for me to back the Knicks. And then on the opposite side, I just don't think the Pistons are good enough to beat the Knicks in this series. Now, I will say this. I do believe tonight the Knicks at -7. I think it makes a little bit of sense. So I am going to back the Knicks tonight as far as game 1 goes. This Pistons team, what a story, but it just kind of feels like to me, first game back in the playoffs, young team, Madison Square Garden, it might snowball on them a little bit. So nothing for the series, but tonight I did take the Knicks and lay in the 7.
Yeah, I wanted to click the Pistons plus 310 for the series. I couldn't get myself to do it. I did play the over 5.5 games. You get over 5.5 games minus 125. That's how I ended up playing this series. If you haven't watched the Pistons, Cade Cunningham is awesome. He is awesome. And so it's going to be his coming out party here. I'm interested to see what the Knicks are able to do when you're playing your starters for 45 minutes every single game. That can wear on you. And this Pistons team, they will not back down. This is a physical Pistons team. If you were going to bet fight, yes or no, in any round 1 series, this is the only one you'd probably take the yes in. I think those games in Detroit are going to be very hostile. I think this is going to be a longer series than a lot of people expect. So give me the Knicks over the 5.5. Knicks Pistons over 5.5 games for the series. Did not bet a side tonight, but I agree with you. I kind of lean Knicks if you're going to do anything. Lakers taking on the Timberwolves in Los Angeles to close out today's slate. This is an 8:30 tip Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, and this one is fascinating to me. The Lakers laying 4 at home, minus 185 on the money line, total sitting at 216. From a series perspective, the Lakers have bet all the way out to minus 195. You get the Wolves plus 160 back the other way. Aaron, what do you like here?
I took Lakers minus 1.5 games in this one. I just think they're getting ready to make a big run at this thing. So I took a minus 1.5 games. You get a plus number when you do that. Plus 115 right now. It's kind of fluctuating back and forth, but plus 115 at the moment. I just think they're poised to make a run. I would also play them tonight on the single game level here in game 1, -4. I think that's the right side to be on. I just think the star power's there. They're rested. They're ready. They're healthy. Give me the Lakers. Give me them in the series minus the 1.5 games as well. I just feel like they're going to be the better team, and they're going to start off hot against the T-Wolves.
Yeah, it's one of those series where, I think this is going to go longer. I took over 5.5 games, minus 175. This is the one I'm most excited to watch because Ant is phenomenal. By the way, he had the most 3-pointers in the NBA. I don't think many people realize that this season. And you've got Luka, you've got LeBron. I just think it's going to be a very, very fun series to watch. Now, if you're looking to bet this series or any of the others, make sure you check out Edge Boost. It's the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. So you need to get money online? There you go. 1 o'clock in Vegas? Hit up Edge Boost. They'll make sure you don't get denied there. No fees, no minimums. Earn cashback rewards. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet. Use promo code BET. Deposit $25 and Edge Boost will match that deposit. That is edgeboost.bet. Aaron, we've still got a lot more to cover here in the last hour and 15 minutes of Ready, Set, Bet. We're going to talk good news, bad news when we come back. We're going to hit up some college football, one of your favorite subjects, and Aaron Rodgers, one of my least favorite subjects. Stick with us here. Ready, Set, Bet.
Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back in here, Ready, Set, Bet on VSiN and Sirius XM Channel 158. I'm Mike Somich. He's Aaron Halterman filling in for Matt Brown. And Aaron, one of the things that we love to do here is some good news, bad news. And I have got some bad news for your Milwaukee Bucks bet. Not much is changing. 15-15 so far here in the third quarter, 82-58 right now. The Pacers taking care of business at home. On the good news side, though, your Phillies still up 7-1, so laying the 1.5 looks pretty good there. The Cubs getting to Zach Gallen early after a leadoff solo shot from Corbin Carroll. The Cubs have answered with 2 in the bottom half of the inning. Only 1 out right now in the bottom first. Cubs up 2-1 in Detroit, leading 3-1 over Kansas City right now in the bottom of the 7th. But with all that said, let's talk a little college football, your favorite sport. We've got some good news. We've got some bad news.
Is it good news?
I got great news, guys.
Or is it bad news?
What type of news is it? Well, to be perfectly frank, it's bad.
So we found out that TCU quarterback Josh Hoover has reportedly rejected a huge Tennessee offer. Now, is this good or bad news in multiple ways, Aaron? First off, is this good news for Tennessee? Is there any scenario you're interested in betting Tennessee if they're able to get a quarterback? I'll let you just take the floor here on where you want to go with the mess that is currently NIL, as well as Tennessee's situation after we saw the exit of Nico there last week.
Yeah, what a mess. That's the best way to put it right there. First of all, I'll applaud Tennessee for what they did with Nico. Get him out of there. You know, the guy's making $2.4 million reportedly, and he wants $4 million. He's holding the university up for more cash. He's trying to get paid for a 13th game last year and almost held out of the playoffs. We heard that report. Get him out. I like it. More teams need to do this. This needs to be set. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for the players getting paid, but we've got to get this thing under control, and we've got to get structure. Now, flip side, obviously, Tennessee needs a quarterback. And if they're out trying to make big offers for a Big 12 quarterback who's pretty solid there at Tennessee, still, it's not good right there. And it's also not good that he turns them down. Yeah, I mean, it's good news for TCU. Obviously, that goes without saying. I guess it's good news for college football that the kid's showing a little bit of loyalty, right? It seems like we don't have that anymore. So that is kind of good for the guy that, like myself, who's enjoyed this for many, many years and thinks it's kind of going downhill. That is good to see. So bad news for Tennessee, though, for sure. They're obviously searching for a quarterback because they probably don't have one.
Yeah, when you're out looking for a quarterback in the portal, it kind of tells you what you think of who's in-house. Heupel needs someone to be able to run his offense, and it wasn't like for everything that Nico Amaliava was last year, he could not hit a wide open receiver. The amount of overthrows that he had last year, and I watched quite a bit of Tennessee because Matt Brown talked me into a Heisman ticket on Nico last year. Oh, that was a bad play. He wasn't very good for them. And so they need to find someone who can come in, who can hit open wide receiver and be able to move forward with them. Now, we're talking about college football. We might as well talk a little NFL here. And we've got some Aaron Rodgers news. I personally cannot wait for this story to go away because I'm kind of done with Aaron Rodgers, especially after what we saw last year. But he is still not done with the NFL, although he is uncertain on his future moving forward here, Aaron. He talked a little bit about what happened with the Jets, that he's willing to play for $10 million. He's also willing to retire. When do you think Aaron Rodgers makes a decision? And do you care? Is there a football team he can go to that would actually change your opinion on said football team?
Look, it's bad news for any team or any fan of a team that might, quote unquote, need a quarterback, because if he is an option out there, you don't want him. If you're a fan of a team, like the Steelers have been the rumor. If I was a Steelers fan, I would be sick thinking Aaron Rodgers would be the quarterback. Look, he's done to me. He's completely done. The guy's a weird guy, but forget about all the off-field weirdness. Let's just put it like that, right? He can't play anymore. Like, he was awful last year with the Jets. He was nothing but trouble. He also was hurt the year before and missed the whole season. He's an older guy, so that could happen again. Look, I don't care how weird you are off the field or how bizarre your interviews are. If you go out on Sunday and you play well, I will support you if you're the quarterback of my team. It's when you don't is when I'm like, get this guy out of here, and especially when you're causing trouble. I bet it's a in the season type of decision where somebody's desperate and then he goes. That's going to be my guess.
Yeah, I don't see any contenders rushing with open arms to try and get Aaron Rodgers in the building, especially after the mess we saw in the media from the during that Jets season last year and how he acted. So I hope he retires. And Actually, I shouldn't say that. I hope he does go to some team and people decide to bet them so I can bet against him in some way, because I don't see how he fits into a team that makes them a division contender or a Super Bowl contender. So we'll see what Aaron Rodgers decides to do. Another decision that we are waiting, actually plenty of them, will happen on Thursday night here in the NFL Draft. Raiders GM John Spytek comes out and says he strongly believes in drafting a running back. Now, he didn't say in the first round, which I think matters in this quote, right? Because they've got the number 6 overall pick, Ashton Genty, highly rumored to go minus 150 right now to be a Raider with that 6th overall pick. It feels like he will be there. Kind of feels like we're finding out who the top 5 are right now. What do you think about drafting a running back at number 6? And then just overall, because I do think overall, no problem. Number 6, I got a couple concerns.
The NFL is such a copycat league, right? Like before last year, everybody's like, forget about running backs. You just get one that's decent and you'll be fine. It's not an important position anymore. And then an elite running back like Saquon Barkley finally plays for a team that's decent and can actually use him. And you're like, whoa, no, running backs make a huge difference. Here's what I will tell you. If you are drafting a running back at number 6, you better make sure that is a franchise guy. That is a Saquon Barkley. Right? That is a guy that is going to be a huge difference maker, because here's the deal. You got guys like Saquon that can make a huge difference to a team, but the vast majority of the other running backs in the NFL are interchangeable. I still believe that. But yeah, if you get an elite player at any position, it's going to make a difference. You get McCaffrey and he's healthy, it's going to make a difference. So if you're going to draft Gentry at number 6, you better believe he's just an all-world franchise type running back. I'm not so sure he is, Somich. That's why I would not draft him at 6. So I don't think it's good news for the Raiders fans that he might go at 6.
Yeah, 6 is he's had a lot of wear on him too. We talk about running backs with 400 carries in the NFL. He's gotten a ton of carries the last 2 years at Boise State. I've got a little concern around the longevity. We'll see how that ends up playing out. The Bucs have made a little dent in the lead. They've closed it by 1 point. 86-63 right now. Pacers still in control. The Diamondbacks do get out of that bottom of the first, just giving up 2 runs to the Cubs. So we've got a 2-1 game there. Your Phillies rolling up 8-1 right now. So you like that. And if you want to find out how these games are getting bet, where that money is coming from, head over to vsin.com. We have got betting splits coming at you from both Circa and DraftKings Sportsbooks, giving you insight on both where the sharp action is, as well as where more of a public book is taking the majority of their bets. See the percentage of bets and the percentage of handle on every single game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN's summer special right now, only $59 until August 1st at vsin.com/subscribe. You get the betting splits. You get the daily email with the picks, all of the picks on the Pro Picks page of every host and every guest, as well as the guides, including, Aaron, the Kentucky Derby guide, which is coming up here next week. And we've got you on the show. I love the Derby. You love the Derby. We host VSiN at the track, Road to the Kentucky Derby, every single Friday. Why not talk a little bit of Derby? The big news yesterday, Matticat Road decides to defect from the Derby. I'm a little more bummed about this than you are. I thought he had a shot at hitting the Superfecta. He's going to head to the Pat Day Mile instead. That means that Built is in. It gets our boy Bieza one step closer. What do you think of the decision here from Bob Baffert to send Matticat Road to the Pat Day Mile?
I think it's a great decision. I think if you watch his races, when he hits the mile point, he's doing really well and he's ahead in most of the time when he's running. So now he gets to run a mile and stop. So I think that's actually very good for him. And look, here's the deal with Matticat Road. We disagree. I don't think this horse had much of a chance at all to win the Kentucky Derby. So I think it's a good idea. It's kind of showing a little bit of reserve. Hey, let's make the smart decision. Also, like you said, it gets a horse that actually has a chance. Bieza, one step closer. He's now at 23, so good news there for Bieza. Hopefully he gets in, Somich. That's the horse that I think everybody's waiting to see. Can he get in the gate?
Another little under the radar news nugget. American Promise goes out and works 22 and change, 45 and change to the half mile, kind of tipping the hand that he might want to be up front for the Kentucky Derby, which Owen Almighty's owner said he's going to the front. We know East Avenue wants to go to the front. You've got 2 Bafferts that want the front. We haven't even talked about the international horses. Aaron, how fast is this pace going to be the first Saturday in May?
A week and a half ago, I said, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be all that fast. We'll see what happens. Now, I'm on your camp. I'm on your bandwagon. And by the way, Dwayne Lucas, an old school trainer, he's the trainer of American Promise. He's won a lot of races going gate to wire. Won't shock me at all if American Promise is the horse on top, especially after that workout. That is cooking for a workout to go 45 and change. You usually do not see that. It's more like 47 and change.
And they had him run through the wire as well. So clearly the plan to send that horse sets up well for my boy Sovereignty, who you turned your back on 2 weeks ago on VSiN at the Track. You find that over on YouTube at VSiN Live. Make sure you check it out every Friday, 2:15 Eastern, 11:15 Pacific. Stick with us here. More MLB and NHL previews on the other side.